In a world where stories of heroes are often told by men, the Bible shines with extraordinary women whose faith, courage, and strength changed the course of history. Their stories were not written in the shadows. They were the bold voices that shaped nations, kingdoms, and destinies. Join me on a journey through time as we uncover the untold stories of these fierce women who, despite the obstacles of their time, proved that faith and courage can break any barrier. Throughout the Bible, we find women who defied expectations, fought against adversity, and held on to faith in the face of unimaginable trials. These women, each from a different time and place, became beacons of hope, courage, and inspiration. Today, we'll journey through the lives of 5 incredible women: Eve, Sarah, Esther, Deborah, and Ruth. Their stories are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. And as we examine their lives, we'll uncover timeless lessons about courage, strength, and unshakable faith. We begin at the dawn of creation, where the first woman, Eve, took her place as the mother of all living. Born from Adam's side, Eve was the first to walk this earth, the first to experience the beauty of creation. But her story is not only one of harmony, but also one of great struggle. Eve's decision to eat the forbidden fruit marked a turning point for humanity. It's a story often remembered for its consequences, but it's also a story of courage. The courage to face temptation, to choose her own path, and to wrestle with the complexities of free will. Eve wasn't just the first to fall. She was the first to experience the weight of responsibility, but she also carried the promise of redemption, the first to hear the promise of a Savior who would come to restore what was broken. Eve teaches us about the power of choices and the importance of owning up to the consequences. Even in moments of failure, there is always a path to redemption. Next, we travel to the land of Ur, where Sarah, the wife of Abraham, faced a life-changing test of faith. Though she was promised a son by God, Sarah had to wait decades before the promise came to fruition. For many years, Sarah struggled with doubt and impatience. How could a woman who was well beyond childbearing age ever bear a child? But God's promise was steadfast. Despite her doubts, Sarah trusted in God's timing, and her son Isaac was born. Sarah's story reminds us that God's timing is perfect. No matter how long the wait, no matter how impossible the promise may seem, when God speaks, His word never fails. Let's now turn to the majestic city of Susa, where a young Jewish woman, Esther, rose from obscurity to become the queen of Persia. But her reign would not be defined by luxury. It would be defined by a decision to risk everything for the survival of her people. When an edict was issued to destroy the Jews, Esther was faced with a life-or-death decision. She could remain silent, enjoying her royal position, or risk her life and speak to the king hoping for mercy. Esther chose courage. In the end, her bravery saved her people, and the story of Esther has since been remembered as a testament to standing up for what is right, no matter the cost. Esther teaches us about the power of one voice, and the courage to act even in the face of fear. For such a time as this, she became a hero, and so can we. Now let's journey to the time of the judges. Here we meet Deborah, a prophetess and the only female judge of Israel. Deborah's leadership was unconventional. She was a woman in a patriarchal society, yet she led Israel with wisdom, courage, and unwavering faith in God. Deborah didn't shy away from her calling. When the Israelites were oppressed by the Canaanite king Jabin, it was Deborah who summoned Barak and led Israel to victory. Her faith and leadership turned the tide of battle. Deborah teaches us that leadership isn't defined by gender, but by the strength of our convictions and the willingness to step into the roles God calls us to, no matter how daunting they may seem. Lastly, we come to Ruth, a woman whose story is defined by loyalty, love, and redemption. Ruth, a Moabite widow, chose to stay with her mother-in-law, Naomi, rather than return to her own people. Her loyalty brought her to Bethlehem, where she worked in the fields of Boaz, a wealthy relative. And in God's perfect timing, Ruth's faithfulness was rewarded, and she became the great-grandmother of King David, an ancestor of Jesus Christ. Ruth's story reminds us that loyalty and kindness have a powerful impact, and that sometimes The most unexpected paths lead to the greatest rewards. Eve, Sarah, Esther, Deborah, and Ruth. Each of these women faced impossible odds, yet they stood firm in their faith, courage, and strength. Their stories are not just ancient history, they are the foundation of hope for us all. What these women teach us is that regardless of who we are or where we come from, faith, courage, and strength are within reach. These qualities don't come from our circumstances, they come from within, and they come from God. May their stories inspire you to step into your own calling with courage, knowing that with faith, anything is possible.